Although the police administration and the Interior Ministry both deny reports of inability to effectively carry out police functions due to fuel shortage, many ordinary citizens say this cannot be true as they have evidence to contradict these.
The IGP is here. He will just respond to it. It is not true that the issue was fuel. The issue was not fuel. And I'm happy the PRO, police PRO also spoke to the issue when it was made mention of this morning during the newspaper review. It's not true that they have about over 30,000 gallons of fuel in their depot, so it couldn't possibly have been the fuel.
So what will make a police officer demand a taxi fare from a citizen who reports a complaint and requires police assistance is the case in which the police failed to present suspected Nigerian pirates before court, just a small fraction of the larger challenge facing the police service. Are these logistics challenges affecting professional police duties and denying citizens the right to justice and public protection? My name is Stephen Anti, and this is today's big story. Welcome back. Today's big story is brought to you by Lifeline Properties, affordable, quality and comfortable housing. Now, the inability of the police to present suspected Nigerian pirates before an Accra Magistrates Court is raising key questions of the challenges faced by the police administration in executing its work. Well, we will be discussing this in great detail today, but let's first hear from some of our colleagues here at the Multimedia Group who have had one problem or the other with the police service. Let's start with Adelaide Inti, who is a reporter with Joy News.
Okay, somewhere last year in July, my mom has a land somewhere around Nyanyano, and then it's close to our house. So one afternoon I was inside the house, then I decided to go out. Then I met some people digging foundation, trying to build a wall. And then they told me that that place belongs to them. Then I said, no, you can't do that. So they were interacting, and then they said, if I come out of the house, they're going to beat me up and then destroy things in the house. So I just went outside to the Nyanyano police station, and then I reported the case to the police. But the police were willing to follow me, but they told me they don't have a vehicle. So if they would go with me, then I should pick a taxi and then go with them. So I had to pick a taxi and then come with them because I needed them to clear those people from my mom's land. It's my mom's property. I need to protect it. So they came with me, and then they arrested the guys. So I had to take a taxi back for them. But because I couldn't walk back to the junction, I had to let the taxi that I brought wait for them. So it cost me an extra money for the taxi to wait for them. Even though I find it like not normal, but because they came to arrest the people, I didn't even think of the money that I spent. So
my house got burgled about a year ago, and we went to the police station, which is just around the corner from where I live, to report the fact that someone had come in. Actually, they broke in and they entered. No one was hurt anyways, but they took a few things, laptops, phones, the usual. So we went to report to the police, as you do. When we got to the station, first of all, there was no urgency to the matter at all. There was a lady behind the counter, and she's like, oh, well, okay, this one dear is the investigator, and he's not here this morning yet, so you have to sit down small and wait for him, which led to a 45-minute wait, keeping in mind the fact that I need to get to work before a certain time. So obviously I was horrendously late for work that day. Finally, the investigator deigns to show up, and I'm like, okay, cool, take your statement. You can write, can't you? I was like, yeah, I can write. So I write out my statement. Then he says, okay, let's go to your house and go and see. It was very clear how they got in. It was from the neighbor's wall. Our neighbors moved out, so that house was lying vacant for some time. So you could see he had left some bags, like a couple of handbags in the house were left just beside the wall. There's a generator by the wall, so you could just see that, okay, he climbed the tree, jumped the wall, got onto the generator and got into the house. But the police didn't seem to take any kind of interest in, we are all CSI viewers, leave the evidence as it is. In Ghana, no, you can pack your everything back inside if they steal, because the police are not going to do anything with the evidence. They use a crowbar to get in from the balcony upstairs. The crowbar was still on the floor in the morning. The police didn't do anything with the crowbar. And the interesting thing was that we all know that we have to transport them to and fro. But what really shocked me was the fact that the CID detective told me that if we had any suspects, we should get the suspect and bring the suspect to the police station. And I just smiled at him, and I stopped making any effort. I was just like, okay, all right, no problem. Okay, when we get a suspect, we'll bring it to you. I mean, like, if I'm looking out there looking for suspects, then what is the police doing? I don't know.
Okay, my account is simple. Armed robbers came to our house, they robbed us, they went away, and we needed to have a police, we have to do a report at the police station, and they needed to come back to the house, come and look at what has been taken so that we can build a statement on that. But what happened is that when I got to the police station, it was early morning. I asked them that, okay, so this is a situation. They said they need to go with me to the house and go and have a first-hand information on what had happened. But unfortunately, they told me they didn't have car, so I should get a taxi for them to take me to the house. And I obliged because I was the victim. I first said why, but I didn't have anything to do, so I had to pay for the taxi and took them home, and they went to do what they had to do. So that was my experience.
Well, so these are some of our colleagues who work here in the multimedia group giving their account of the experience they've had with the police service. I mean, I have had similar experiences with the police service where my house was burgled. As usual, I went to the police station, reported the incidents to them, and was expecting that an investigator will be dispatched to go with me to my house, so the necessary things that need to be done will be done. But I was asked to bring in a suspect, really. I mean, these experiences with the police service exposes a certain lack of logistics or perhaps professional approach to handling issues, and it's quite a reflection with what happened yesterday also, when the police failed to present the Nigerian suspected pirates to court for the proceedings to follow. But, well, we spoke to Police Public Relations Officer Cephas Arthur earlier, and he granted us an interview. Let's hear. We're told that he's joining us on the telephone line. We spoke to him earlier, but he's back on. Good evening, sir, DSP Cephas Arthur.
Yeah, good evening.
We know that the police service and the Interior Ministry has, for example, denied outright that shortage of fuel couldn't have been responsible for the situation where the Nigerian suspects were unable to be presented before court, and it cannot be a problem. You have told us also that it is actually professional negligence for anyone to cite this as an excuse. But we are thinking that there is a broader problem with the police service in executing duties. When we come into contact with them, sometimes we have to pay for them to take a taxi and go attend to the issue we brought before them. So how does this fit into the denial that shortage of fuel is not a problem to the service?
Yeah, thank you. There's no gainsaying that the police have some little challenges. I mean, we should consider where we are coming from and where we have got to now. The fact that we have some challenges with our general operations and duties does not make the yesterday or today's allegation a fact. There are two things altogether. I mean, in the past, as I said earlier, we know where the police are coming from. There were some times that we even didn't have vehicles. I mean, you got out to the public and you hardly saw a police vehicle. These days, I mean, at the snap of the finger, at a regular beat, you see police vehicles passing by and going on operations. I mean, it means that there is some improvement. There was even also the time that the policeman uniform, I mean, at a point in time, he had only one and could be wearing the same thing. Sometimes you see the policeman, sometimes dirty in uniform. I mean, the uniform also getting tattered. But over some time now, over some period of time now, you also realize that the situation has also improved drastically.
Right.
You see, so we are not saying that we don't have some challenges.
Okay.
We have some challenges. So there are some police stations that you visit now that will not have any police vehicle on charge. Sometimes you go to a police station and there's only one vehicle on charge. That vehicle may have gone out to effect an arrest or to undertake some errand. But when there's another case immediately after the vehicle has left, you wouldn't have vehicle available. That it is up to the policeman to use his discretion. The number 6, which is known in police parlance as your discretion. You understand it? Sometimes you use your discretion and it is wrong. That one we deal with you as a police officer. But when you use your discretion and you succeed, then you are a good police officer.
I see.
So we are not saying that we don't have some challenges. We have some challenges.
Right.
We are still advancing. We have come from very far. We are still advancing. But as far as yesterday or today's incident, the allegation that we failed to present the accused person
because of shortage of fuel.
Just because of shortage of fuel.
But that cannot be true. You've denied that already, right?
Yes.
But why do you say that it cannot be the case? I mean, the reported shortages of fuel in the police service is not unusual. We've had reports that there being shortage of police fuel to fuel police. So why is it that anybody would believe you if you say that in this particular instance there was no fuel shortage?
Yeah, in the morning when I was responding to this allegation, I threw a challenge to media houses and other people to go to the fuel dump at 37 to verify it for themselves. I mean, I haven't at any particular point in time responded to this issue this affirmatively. I mean, this strongly. And I'm doing this because I know what I'm doing. Okay. I have been authoritatively informed that there is fuel, to the extent that even our fuel dumps across country in the outstations have also been supplied. That is the very reason why we are coming out this strongly to deny the fact that we failed to put the accused person before court because we didn't have fuel.
Right, so I am curious, really. We've spoken about the challenges with fuel, which you say that is not a big problem now. I'm tempted to ask you, what is the arrangement for fueling police vehicles? For example, do you have a permanent fuel depot at all police stations or at the police headquarters where all vehicles, for example, in a catchment area of Accra or Kumasi or wherever would go and fuel up if they are due for operations? How does it work?
I wish I had a total knowledge about it. But the little I have is that for every region there is a fuel dump, and for every big town there is a fuel dump, and there's an arrangement with some fuel stations, usually the government fuel stations, where we don't have police fuel dump to play that role for the police. So I think accessibility to fuel dump is not in contention here.
Right, Fasata, we'll have you hold one of our viewers who is a viewer of Joy News TV is joining us on the telephone line. Is called Mohammed. Mohammed, good evening and thanks for joining us on today's big story.
Yeah, good evening. It's a pleasure.
So you said that you have had an instance with the police service which you want to share with us. We have the police PRO online, so if there are any concerns, he could address them now, really. Did you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so I'm asking you what your story with the police service is.
Hello?
I'm asking you what encounter you had with the police service. If you can share with us.
Yes, please. I've not encountered something like that, but it's just an issue that is concerned as a matter.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's hear you.
And then, in fact, I strongly disagree with the fact that the police are saying that there's no fuel for transportation. So should we blame them? The president and his ministers, especially the minister of Interior,
right,
who
Mohammed.
is in charge of the internal.
Mohammed, I think that you're digressing from the key issues we're discussing. So we'll have to hang up and continue with the discussion, because what we were discussing really is to get concerns from our viewers, audience, who have had some encounter with the police service, and then they will share that encounter with us whilst we put the police PRO online to address these things. But Mohammed, it looks like you're way off the tangent, and I'm afraid we'll have to take you off. So Service Arthur, let's continue with the discussion. I asked earlier how the arrangement is with the distribution of fuel to your officers who need it for the performance of their duties, and you gave an elaborate explanation as to the fact that although you do not know the details, you know that there could be depots across the regions where they will fuel up when they need. But beyond just the fuel, we also brought up the issue of police professional conduct. For example, if I went to the police with an armed robbery report, or maybe a robbery report, in the police judgment, they will tell you that it's petty stealing and will not give it the due attention that it requires if it was an armed robbery. I want you to tell me, if I go to the police station and I don't see any urgency from the officers who are dealing with me, what should I do?
Then we are looking at the issue from 2 points of view. From the point of view of the non-expert and from the point of view of the expert. Let me say that, especially even when it comes to the issue of robbery or armed robbery, sometimes people leave their homes with their items intact. They come back and they find out that some of these things have been stolen. Even clothes hanging on the dry lines have been stolen. And sometimes they come to the police station to make a complaint of armed robbery. That, for instance, when you come with such a story and you make a complaint of armed robbery, then the police will approach it differently, as quite apart from how they would have approached it if they perceived it to be armed robbery. That is clear case of stealing, for instance. And so they will approach it in that manner. This is not to say that we don't have some cops in the service who are very unprofessional with the way they go about their activities. Some of them are unprofessional, and it is for these individuals that we have launched operations after operations, including the public confidence reaffirmation program, which we have even involved members of the public to assist us undertake. So sometimes it's not so much the fact that the police officer is not professional, but it is his understanding of the issue at stake. And you see that at the end of it, or the appropriate step is taken to solve the issue.
Right, Sefasata, I'll have you hold. We're having a broader discussion, so we'll still keep you on the line. We know that it's pretty fair for you to be on the line so you can address some of the issues which come and could be negative to the image of the police service. Michael Eddy, who is also a viewer, and he has joined us online. Michael, good evening.
Sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir.
We hear you have a complaint involving your encounter with the police service. Can you share that with us?
You know, my own it was a fight, serious fight between one of my brothers, you know. So we went there to report the case. We went there around 6 p.m. After we report the case, the guys told us there was no car around. Unless we find our own taxi, we are going to pay. For all we know, the small police station had their own pickups, you know. Please, are you hearing me, please?
I'm hearing you, yes, Eddie.
Yeah, so we were there, and we got stranded. We don't have money with us, so we got stranded. Because if you don't get car, they are not going with you. You get me? So these are some of the cases. You know, Ghana police, we know what they are doing in this country. You know they are helping us a lot. But there are some cases when you go to meet some people, they don't want to help you. They don't want to help you at all. And you know what is going on now? Some people don't put their credit, they don't put their numbers, don't put their names. You know.
So Michael, Eddie,
when it comes like that,
Eddie,
they're not safe.
Eddie, can you hear me now?
Me?
I'm asking.
I'm hearing you,
what police station was this?
It was Dansuma police station.
Dansuma police station. Dansuma is a very big police station, so I reckon that they could have had.
They want me to make it like that for you.
So let me get a fair understanding of what you're saying. So there was a fight between your brother and another person. So it led to an assault. Your brother was assaulted, kind of, right?
Yes, please. Yes,
and so you went to the police to report the assault case.
Yes.
And the police wanted you to get them a taxi so they can go and arrest the other person.
Yes, please.
Right. I'll have you hold. This is a very typical situation which we've heard before. So, Mr. Sefa Safa, this is a clear example of some of the things that we've heard from our viewers and even members of our own staff. Abigail Inti spoke a while ago to tell us that she went to the Nyanyano police station, I think Nyanyano is somewhere in Kaswa area, to report a complaint of somebody who had threatened her. So she went to the police station, and as somebody who is well educated and understands her rights, she wanted assistance from the police service. The police requested her to get a taxi so they will go. And in her case, she had the money, so she paid for the taxi, and the police went and effected the arrest, all right, and the case continued. So in Abigail's case, there was a police action, but she still had to pay for it. But in Michael Eddie's case, he didn't have the money. This is a serious situation, isn't it?
And that is a clear example of a case I have already partly addressed.
Yes.
I have said that it is not all the police stations that are well resourced.
But Dansuma is a district police command. They should be sufficiently resourced.
I say well resourced because I mentioned the fact that earlier I also mentioned the fact that sometimes there's only one vehicle on charge the station. You understand it? Where you are lucky, you can get 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles on charge. So when one is gone for an operation or for a duty, and there is a report made afterwards, another one or another vehicle can also be used for other operations. The situations where police officers ask complainants to provide vehicles for action to be taken is wrong. Nobody encourages it. I guess it is a wrong judgment on the part of the such police officers because they still have the sense of duty and to attend to your issue for you, except that they are handicapped.
Yeah.
So I have mentioned
this handicap that you were talking about, I mean, it's clear. You have accepted that these challenges exist in the police service. What we are looking at is that these have the potential of affecting the delivery of justice and providing public protection and safety for the citizens. So this should be taken serious and addressed. So what would you tell me as the measures that the police service...
I've indicated that fact already, that we are addressing it. We have been addressing it over the years. I even said that in the past, you could hardly see police vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, patrolling our streets. But these days, people come out openly to laud the police for being everywhere. They see them, police vehicles running all around our communities, our highways, and other things. It means that the situation is being addressed. It is improving gradually. We'll get to a point where...
I'm listening, sir. Go on, sir.
Yeah, very soon we'll get to a point where some of these petty issues will not arise. We are in Ghana, you know. We are in Ghana. We are as yet to be in UK. We are yet to be in US.
It's like accepting
we are aspiring towards.
It's like suggesting that because we are in Ghana, we do not deserve quality policing.
We deserve the best of policing.
If we deserve quality policing...
We deserve the best of policing, but as I've said, we have a history of where we never had enough vehicles for anything. We have hardly any vehicles for our operations. We have now advanced towards improving our logistics and equipment and other things. And you can attest to this fact that the police you see today is not the police you had some years back, years. It means that it is improving.
It is improving.
And so it is up to all of us. There are certain times that we even solicit the support of the public, especially communities. And some communities have responded positively, where they contribute and even philanthropy to support their community police stations with logistics and equipment. Some people have gone as far as getting vehicles for their community police so that they can use it to patrol their communities for them. I mean, this is an era of shared responsibility when it comes to policing. You understand it?
Right, DSB Service Arthur, we're grateful for your time on today's big story. This is the longest we've held you on telephone, and we're grateful. So, Service Arthur is first accepting that the police have challenges, but they're working to address these challenges. And I must say that it's not always negative. I've had very positive police responses where I had concerns that somebody was dead and lying at my junction. I called for police attention, and under 10 minutes, 15 minutes, police came to the scene to ensure that whatever the distraction was is dealt with. We earlier spoke to the Interior Minister, Mark Woyongo. Let's hear him.
He is here. He will just respond to it. It is not true that the issue was fuel. The issue was not fuel. And I'm happy the PRO, police PRO, also spoke to the issue when it was made mention of this morning during the newspaper review. It's not true that they have about over 30,000 gallons of fuel in their depot, so it couldn't possibly have been the fuel.
But it's been a rumor since last October that we ran out of shots, and the OMCs who supply are saying that...
I am telling you that the police, they owe, and they have paid the money. It hasn't yet hit the account of the GOIL, but the check has been issued. So far as I'm concerned, GOIL has no problem supplying fuel to the police. Okay?
This is where it ends, please. Sorry.
We couldn't get time to explore this further. The fact that the police owed GOIL and have paid up their indebtedness to GOIL, and so GOIL had no problem supplying fuel to them. This is how we draw the curtains down with today's big story. We'll be right back with an interactive segment. Do stay.